Hello everyone, and welcome to this first video on the series that we are going to make on how to make a program using Delphi. Delphi is an IDE, it is an integrated development environment, whatever. And the first thing that we're going to see is how to create a new application. As usual, we have the menu bar on top with File, Edit, etc. We're going to click on File, New, and then VCL Form Application. Once we click on that, we're going to have this thingy in the middle with points. That's the form, and that is basically what the application is going to look like once we make it. More on that later, but first we're going to see how the IDE is laid out. The first thing you're going to see on the right is the project manager, and it is basically all the files that will make up the final application. On the bottom of it we have the tool palettes, and it has all the components. By components I mean buttons, edits, and more. To add a component, you just go to the search bar and write what component you want. For example, if you want a button, you type button, and you will be presented with all the components that have the word button into them. T button, T radio button, etc. We need a button, so we can either drag and drop into the form this way, or we can press enter since it is the first thing that is selected, or just double click on it. So now we have inserted two buttons. We can move them around the form, place them wherever it is suited, and we can add another component, let's say an edit. That is basically what the user is going to use to type a text to get the user's input, one of many. On the left here we're going to see the structure of our form. So the form is like a container with many objects inside. We have two buttons and an edit, and this is what is represented by this hierarchy, or basically these things are inside the form. So it's really important to understand that the form is a container containing all of these components. Underneath that we'll find the object inspector. In this drop down menu you'll find all the components that you have, the form and the objects inside it. On each object that we select, we'll find the properties of that object, or all that make that object, its size, the text on top of it, and it all depends on the object that we put on the form. So for the button we have, for example, the caption, which for this button we'll say it's an OK button. This caption does not do anything except that it changes the text that is written on top of the component, sorry, and that is what the user is going to see finally. So if he reads OK, it means that this button does something that has a relation with OK. On the second button, let's say we want to name it cancel, and that is the caption for the button. Also, the form has also a caption. We can name this my first app, and it's going to be written on top of here on the form. And the edit has the text property. We can write here this is my first app. Now that we have this application ready, even though it doesn't do anything interesting, we can run it. Now to run it, you can click the green button that is run. It's a green play button. Once we click it, the program compiles, and we have our application that doesn't do much. Click on the buttons, nothing happens. You can write text here, whatever. To close the app, you click on the X button. And one more thing is that every component also has an events. For example, when you click on the button, what happens? What happens is that you have this on click event, and once you double click next to it, you have this text that is the source code that is going to be executed when you click on that said button. To go back to the form view, you can click this little button here, switch between form and unit, or just press F12 on the keyboard, and you can swap between those two. I hope you like this video. See you next time on another video. Thank you very much.